I know. People are
Soon.
they're getting books to boost you. They're coming back. Like every book in the library of electrical engineering.
Okay, can you tilt her down a little bit? Yeah. Perfect. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Is that high enough?
I think so.
This is so great, you guys. Thank you for doing it.
Lear's not here yet.
Yeah, we're waiting for Lear, but we were thinking that the best way would be if you need to talk, put your hand up, like a big wide hand to the screen. Yeah, so we can, so then we can say okay, and then we'll make sure that we.
What if I yell and interrupt like I usually do? Would that work too?
Yes. Yes.
I can also wave.
Yeah.
That's probably
Is everybody good?
Yeah.
Could be.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the strangest thing, you guys.
Is there?
Bulk chocolate,
Oh my
dark
gosh.
almond. What are these?
It's like ornament chocolates.
Almond chocolate.
Sorry, Rana.
Yes, sorry,
We
Rana.
can't offer you anything.
Yes, yeah, we chocolate.
Oh, chocolate every. Yeah, you should go get some chocolate.
I don't have any milk and orange.
Oh,
Okay. That's a better choice.
got a what?
An orange.
Mm.
Oh, make us feel
Better.
bad. So should we check in?
No.
We'll start with the computer.
I know we're all like.
Feels weird.
What I don't like is that we can see ourselves. Yeah, I'll turn it off. Oh yeah.
What happened in here?
It'll eventually go up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, you're right. Oh, I just choked on my chocolate. Sorry. You're right beside the recording computer, and so you can, like, as we're looking at you, you can look at yourself. So
We just don't like looking at ourselves in the computer.
at the same time.
Oh, you guys can all see also yourselves.
Yeah.
The one that's
Like in
recording.
Becca's computer.
That's so weird.
It'll go
Yeah.
black.
It's
though.
gonna go black soon.
Okay, good. Does that mean our little mirror all the time?
Mm.
Okay, good.
Can't see you, Kate.
This is
Me?
Yeah, you went mangled it.
Thank you for bringing candy.
It's hard not to.
Okay.
Maybe.
You guys can squeeze in.
It's got like really tight.
I'm feeling pretty. At least
Oh,
we
you're
were
both
both
sick,
sick, so
I
we're okay.
It's not that hot in here.
Mm-hmm.
I
It
should
is.
have taken off my table mat.
No
Okay.
window?
Hello?
Is there no window in there?
Oh,
No.
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 Oh, lame. Sorry about that.
okay.
Do you want to check in just so we can?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Keep on time. Rana, do you want to start?
Okay, sure. I'll be, yeah. I feel pretty tired, but also pretty good. I went dancing last night to my very favorite DJ in the world in Cumberland. So I danced for 3 hours. I cannot feel my legs, but I feel wonderful.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm happy. On top of the reading and all that stuff, that feels good.
It's okay.
Glad you're all here. I'm so glad you're willing to do this. Save me the drive today. That's great.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
My cat's name is Ruler. He's lovely. He's glad to be a part of this.
Good.
Who's next?
Is that me? Yeah, sure. I'm good. I just sat in the sun for like 3 hours. Got to cheer. Yeah, I'm like totally good. Way better than last time. Like,
Good.
I'm ready to like
Yeah.
my head's here. Like I'm good now.
Good.
Like I said, I was sick for the past couple days, so I'm still feeling pretty like foggy. But I'll be quieter than usual, but I'm still here. I'm present and I'm ready. And I'm almost on top of the readings because I'm at chapter 8.
Oh, wow.
It's really thick. So
Good job.
yay! I'm on 4.
Yeah. I don't even want to say.
They're so long.
They're so long. They're so long. Yeah, I'm working on the readings like as I go. I worked full time this week, so I only got. I finished the reading for the other class that I have, and so I just started the readings of this yesterday. But I did watch some of the video, and that felt good and helped me kind of like I feel like zone into this class. I think I'm struggling with this class a little bit just because the amount of commitment I thought I was going to have to put in from like, oh, it's 3 weekends, it's over 3 weekends, is different than the amount of commitment that we're actually required to put in. And so I'm still kind of just trying to figure out, because I sort of planned my life, which is maybe a bad decision, but you know, with that in mind, and so I'm just still trying to figure out like the extra. There's Lyra.
Yes.
Hi.
Sorry, I'm late.
It's okay.
I ran from the McLaurin Library. I thought you guys went to the McLaurin Library. Simon there.
Which one? Oh, the curriculum library.
Yeah.
Oh.
Raina's there.
Oh, hey, Rana.
Oh, you
Yeah,
got your
sorry.
exercise.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
thanks for running for us.
That's okay. Yeah,
We were just checking
That's
in.
like-
So.
Yeah, anyway, so I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed by the readings, but yeah, other than that, I'm good. I was also sick this week, so just tired of it.
Oh, you can
Are we checking in?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so I'm doing pretty good, except for this kind of blood rush that went around here. Yeah, I had a really good week, so I had a really bad mark on one of my exams, so I was pretty
Aw.
choked with that. But besides that, yeah, it was okay. Like, I've been feeling pretty good. I have been doing a little bit of the reading, and it's a lot, so yeah, I'm thinking, like, I wonder how hard the exam's going to be, because it's a lot to remember for next week.
I don't think it'll be that hard because she kind of, the way her email said, she was kind of like, just
Yeah.
study a bit and like just come in and
I
just
hope
do
it's just
your
a lot of.
best.
I hope it's just like a lot of like essay kind of analytical
fine.
questions, like analytical answers. So like writing a paragraph, like what do you think this is the best option, or
It's multiple choice.
oh, is it multiple choice?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot.
How do you do it? So I read the first one and I was like, oh my god, like I'm taking notes at the same time.
Yeah.
And then the third one, I skipped the second one. I was doing like highlighting, so I did like the definitions in yellow and then like cool things or like
Rana
things
wants
in
to talk.
blue.
I think.
I
I
don't
just
know
want to
how.
see. I can't see
Oh,
Mariah.
oh.
It's hard to
So
hear.
I'm just wondering like how everyone's doing it because I thought
I'm just
like you have a better
highlighting.
system.
Should we talk about this after we check
Oh,
in?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
Then we. Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my checker.
Okay. Awesome.
Thanks for moving, Blair. It's good. I can see everyone now.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm doing, I don't know. The reading break was okay. It was just supposed to be a family visit, but it turned into multiple hospital
Oh my
visits.
gosh.
So I'm really struggling trying to catch up on my homework. So I'm not the most prepared for today, but I still brought my textbook, but I haven't done many of the readings. So I'm really sorry if I'm not bringing much to the table, but I'll try. Okay, so thank you.
Sorry, just to ask the group. I saw that you guys wanted us to bring like one group activity.
Yeah.
So are we sharing that after each one and maybe trying to implement one, or?
Sure.
Sure.
Maybe.
Okay.
We don't know.
I didn't know if I
We
missed an
still-
outline or
We
something.
still haven't set up a leader yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Just checking in.
All right.
Yes. I'm doing very well. Started work last week, and doing some more, and then doing more orientation the week after next. I have ideas and thoughts
Yay.
and ideas for an exercise and group discussion that we can go over. I mailed over our meeting last week, and yes, I have thoughts.
Okay.
And of how we can next kind of go about what we want to do.
Cool.
So, motion to make Kate leader? Because it sounds like you have a lot of ideas and maybe want to take this.
Anxiety.
Yeah.
Anxiety.
Sure. Sure.
No pressure. Just
No,
like
yeah, sure.
if you feel
Yeah, if you have
like,
a lot, you seem very prepared.
Yeah. And so we'd like to follow that lead
Okay.
instead
Yeah.
of being like. So yeah, I'll just throw it out to the group. What do you think is important to talk about today? Somebody mentioned talking about the video from last week or last time.
And then Mariah wanted to talk about the test a little bit.
Yeah. And then
Sorry,
I
guys.
think
I can't hear, hey?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe yell at me or turn me up on the other side. Everything. Wanted to hear what you said.
Well, then she might not be able to.
Can you still see us if you're like that?
No, well, I can't see later. Everybody else is good.
There.
Now it's me.
Good. I'll lean in like a little bit like this.
Sorry, guys. What did you say? Mariah wanted to discuss what?
The test.
I interrupted Mariah before when she was asking about the test, so I just wanted to make sure that we came back to it.
I think you said to discuss what?
Last week, somebody, I think Kate said to discuss have watched the video and then discuss what we had done via the textbook, and then do some of those little task
The
things.
sub goals.
Sub goals,
Mhm.
yeah. So, yeah. Those are
Sounds
just some ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good to me. Okay.
Do we have an order or preference or?
There's, I have thoughts, but it's not linear necessarily.
Yeah, let's just do it.
But,
Because the way I did it isn't the way, you know what I mean? I think the way I did a thing isn't the way everybody has to do
No.
it. So
Yeah.
let's just do it how you do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You two-
flow with it.
Yeah, okay, I will try to flow. You two are very, you can't see me.
Just a little over. Sorry, guys. It's important to me.
Yeah.
There you go. We're good.
Okay. Now I'm nervous and so my brain
Oh,
shuts
I'm
down.
sorry.
No, it's my own thing.
Oh,
It's
no.
my own thing.
Are these notes for Zap?
No, well, a bit of notes. It's not as daunting as I'm trying to get organized. I'm coming back into school, so it's probably just redundant what I'm doing. I'm trying to work out how I can study and prepare.
Right.
So it's not as exciting as it was, trust me. Okay, so I was thinking if we had reviewed the video at all and kind of taken it apart a little bit, with doing some of our readings and from the class work too, that we've picked out little themes and whatnot, to pick out what happened in our
Good.
last group, and any concerns we have with it, any thoughts about moving forward, any thoughts at all with this exercise that we're doing, the whole class essentially, and how kind of strange it is. And doing, did that come from my computer?
I don't know. Okay.
Yes, it did. That's an email. I'm sorry.
It's okay,
Um,
guys. It's all good. We're here. It's Sunday. It's a beautiful day. I'm so glad you're all here and we're just enjoying it.
Such a good day today.
Yeah,
It's like
it's
summer.
beautiful. It's beautiful. So the other thought I had was, I found a site or two on group exercises and team building, and it's kind of cheesy,
Love it.
but it might be nice. Oh my gosh, Rana, I don't think you'd be able to do it. So
Why?
it takes paper.
Because she doesn't have legs.
It takes paper, and we're essentially moving papers around the group, and we're
I have
saying nice
Drawing?
things
Oh.
about one another that we pick out from our interactions, like things that we've observed.
Yeah, I found something like that too.
I didn't. I just thought of that in my head. I think we should do
I
that.
have
So.
this. Yeah, I have one that's pretty cool. It's like.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, it's like I've done it in a different class before. It's like you get two people and you go back to back with one another. Rena could do it too. I mean, we just would have to talk on the computer, and then one person explains to the other person what to draw, and that person draws. So then at the end they show you, and then you know what the thing is going to be. So like you say, let's say like a soccer ball, and then you're drawing like, okay, put these things here and this thing here, and then at the end they show what they drew, and then you talk about like, oh, if that's like close to what you were thinking and how effective communication works.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool.
We could do that in like a group. Like one person could talk and we could all draw or something like that too.
Yeah, and we could talk
So
about
that-
like
Yeah.
leadership role, like how
Yeah.
one person can effectively communicate to the group, and how well the group effectively listens to whatever is given to them. So that's
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's a cool idea. I like that.
Mine were more like the sinking boat. They were word problems that I found in here.
Mm-hmm.
There was one about penicillin. That was. Did anyone read that? No. Okay. Good, because I was worried that you would all be like, oh, I found one
After
in the
a
book.
while, it's like, no.
Yeah.
Skip the grade part.
And
those
then there's
exercises.
a winter survival exercise that sounds really fun. It's just like you crash land and you have to figure out what.
Hey, that's what I did, and I cut. Well, not out of the book. I just found it, and then we have to like. There's like 12.
Oh, fun.
You crash land, and there's like 12
I
things.
think it's the
Yes,
same.
it's exactly the same. I just got it off the internet.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And so, and then I just thought that we could like organize it, but we all can also do that another day, if that's, anyways, because it sounds like we have a few ideas.
You are so prepared.
Little teacher, the little teacher inside of me.
That's really good.
What does everybody think of those ideas? Anybody just want to do one? Is that where we're headed, or Kate, are you having more? You had
Oh,
more?
just one more, just that we could take this was actually your idea, a controversial topic and kind of discuss it. And that's challenging, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your communication skills and your listening skills and turn taking and then at the end kind of have a be able to collectively kind of have a synopsis of what we talked about.
Yeah.
Not an agreement
Yeah.
because we don't have to
A
agree.
conclusion, if you
I'm
will.
thinking maybe that might be a better thing to do this time with Rana on
Yeah, it's
video,
true.
and then we can do that one. Like that
Something
sounds like
like
a good one.
Hands-on
And then do
when
that,
Rena's here. Yeah.
next time.
Or can I just carry on?
Sorry. So we could do like the discussion this time because it's harder for you, and then when you're here, then we can do one of the
Hands-on exercises.
next time.
I don't know, what does everybody think? I just wanted to hear what you said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, sounds good. I think
Yeah, because that way we don't have to like read out to her what all
Yeah.
the things are and.
also they talked about like doing an exercise like that and making sure that you split the groups so that it's not like everyone's like, oh yeah, we all agree. Okay. So also have people who are like, I kind of like will take the other side even though I don't believe that side.
Oh sure, just create like a debate
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
situation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just so it's a bit more like polarized.
You guys want to think of a topic? Do you have a topic?
Why don't we pick a topic and then see if we need to polarize because it
Yeah.
might be easier if you have like people genuinely like
Mm-hmm.
right.
Abortion.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's
what
a
are
good
they?
one.
Here we go.
Well,
Abortion,
over
euthanasia.
over the Christmas break, I got in a debate with my brother about feminism, and I threw a drink in his face.
That's one
I
of my
got it
favorite
got
topics.
really heated. I was like so mad at him. Anyway,
Another
You're
topic that happened over the break. I don't know if you guys saw the legalization of euthanasia.
Yeah.
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 So that's a really controversial topic that a lot of people were pretty much offended by that it got passed.
Yeah.
Me being the opposite. I think it's actually a really positive thing in society.
the thing with that is I don't really have like I go back and forth. I'm like, yeah, but also okay, I don't know. So
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
an interesting one.
I like that topic. Just I had a lot of conversation with a lot of people
Thinking that
because it really relates to my field as well. So
Why don't we do like 10 minutes? Like why don't we put on a timer and do like 2 or 3 of them?
Okay. Yeah, like a 10-minute timer, Raina, and then we'll
Yeah,
do like and we'll just keep talking. Like we'll pick one and start, and if
Yeah.
it takes 10 minutes, then
sure.
And we'll switch it.
Give it 10, yeah.
cool.
We just have to pick a topic then, right?
Oh.
yeah.
That's not hard for me.
I think
Yeah.
we,
Let's do the
I don't. Yeah, I
euthanasia.
think
Euthanasia.
Alright, sure.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, wait. I'm not ready.
So should we just start
We're-
talking about
We're
it?
discussing legalized euthanasia now.
That's the decision?
Yeah, the decision that was made in this week. I don't know if you saw it on the news.
Oh, no, I understand what it is, yeah.
Oh,
I didn't know
okay.
it was decided now, but
Yeah.
that's the topic we've decided to discuss right now.
Yeah, so
Yes.
federally it was legalized this week.
Sure,
Okay,
let's
ready? Go.
Okay.
Okay, you want to start us
Yeah.
off then?
Okay, sure. I think positively on it. I mean, there's a lot of people obviously that are suffering that are almost as you will like they feel themselves trapped in their bodies or they feel themselves in the need to release, you know, and they feel that it's a burden on themselves as well as their family members or on society, which that can be a very arguable thing because that's in my opinion kind of incredibly strange way of thinking, saying that you're a burden to other people.
Yeah.
We shouldn't value you as another person of society. But I'm also pro because I feel that the suffering really promotes almost like having to torture someone for the rest of their life just because they couldn't, or someone couldn't pull the plug on them.
Right.
Yeah.
And where was this bill passed? Like,
I think it's federal.
Parliament.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Parliament. It's federal.
so it's
It's all of
US
Canada.
and Canada?
No, just Canada.
Just Canada?
Yeah, just Canada. US works on. I
On
think
their
this.
own.
Yeah, this would be a
Different
different state.
Thanks.
But this is federally passed in Canada.
Okay.
So yeah.
You're totally lost, aren't you, Rana?
You guys are all blurry, and I'm catching some of what you're saying,
Okay,
but not all of it,
okay.
because you're blurry and breaking up.
Oh no.
But I got what they said.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for noticing that. I'm like, what?
I wonder, do you have a flashlight? Then you can kind of shine it at, you know, if you're not paying attention.
That's
I don't
weird.
know.
I would have never. I was
That is a
really thought of
very
that.
s-
I feel bad if
good
you
idea.
interrupt it.
Okay,
Like,
try it because I want to see if that actually works.
Yeah, or your LED light on your phone or something like that.
For my little flashlight.
Yeah,
Oh, that totally works.
Okay, wait.
Just-
Make sure you're shining
just
it.
nobody look.
Just
and
flash it at the camera.
Oh.
Yeah, there, like
Yeah,
that.
oh,
Yeah.
wow. Kind of.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, just so you know, right now, for the past like 5 minutes, you're all blurry, and when you talk at the same time, I have no idea what you're saying.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I don't want to interrupt the whole damn meeting because that's frustrating for everyone. But if it's important, know that it's possible I won't hear it, so please bear with me and repeat.
Sure, no
Okay.
problem.
Okay?
Or we might need to slow down.
You know what I'm wondering?
Yeah.
Can we leave her on video and then have a phone call with her so it doesn't, like, it's not glitchy in terms of Wi-Fi?
Oh.
I don't think. Do you,
Like, she mutes and we mute and then we have her on the phone? And then she can hear everything,
she
right?
can't double call on Skype. She would have to use some different medium like Viber or something like that.
Well, or her phone.
Why?
Or her phone.
If she turns
Oh.
it, if we're on mute and she's on mute, and then she's on the phone.
Oh, you mean like actual phone call?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, that's fine. Just wasting minutes.
Does that work? Does that
This
work?
is expensive for me. It's a good idea.
Yeah, it's like because it's long
You don't
distance,
have
right?
minutes in Canada, like so many.
Canada wide? I don't
It's
know.
fine. It's fine. It's just not.
Maybe a thought for next time if
Yeah.
we can organize it.
Okay.
Maybe next time I'll just drive there.
Okay.
Everybody.
So euthanasia.
Okay, carry on.
Oh.
I'll just, tell me
Okay.
it's important.
Euthanasia. So it was passed in Canada,
Mm.
and is there a specific, like, they have to be of sound mind? Like, what qualifies sound mind?
Is that the bill that was passed was that physicians
Yeah.
that were holding the lives of, like pretty much holding the lives of
Yeah.
the people that are in critical care or
Okay.
that wanted to have had a death wish pretty much because of
Okay.
their burdens.
Okay.
The physician can pass that person can now like an assisted suicide.
Yeah. Do they have to be conscious, or can they like?
It can be competent or incompetent. It
Okay.
depends on the primary primary decision maker. So if the person is incompetent, so
Yeah.
if they're in a coma or
Yeah.
something like that,
And their spouse
then
and
they're and
next
let's say
of
their
kin,
next
yeah.
of kin or whoever is in charge of the body
gets to decide.
gets to decide. They can ask the physician to remove them off life support, which would be
Right.
assisted suicide.
Right.
No, because that's not the same thing. Removing somebody off life support isn't physician-assisted suicide, and so.
Oh, it's legal.
Like,
Yeah, it's legal.
No, so it's
right,
okay for if a person is in a coma and there's nothing like that's a choice that's often presented to next of kin. What do you want us to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know what their quality of life would be like
Right.
if they even come back or
Okay.
Yeah.
so that's different. Physician-assisted suicide is like usually the person has to have a
Yeah.
plan, an end-of-life care plan,
Yeah.
and it would have like a do not resuscitate and like whatever they can like really write out exactly what they want to happen. Up to this point, end of life care plans have not included physician assisted suicide. Now they
Okay.
could.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
like so I don't think a next of kin could make a decision if a person was like had ALS or something
Yeah.
like that and was just slowly and they had not said in their end of life plan. I don't know this, but I don't think that a next of kin could make that decision.
Mhm.
To take someone off life support is just like a decision that sometimes has to
Yeah.
be made. But yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, and so but yeah, what it does is it like puts the. I think I just heard this thing because I volunteer with Victoria Hospice, so they like sent out an email this week about this, and just saying that while most Canadians are like when polled are actually for euthanasia, the majority of palliative care physicians, which are physicians who work with people who are dying, they're against it. So the majority, and I don't know, I think that comes down to like off that they're going to be the ones holding that. They're the ones who write that prescription for that drug, or like they're going to be the ones putting the drug into the IV, and like. So I just thought that was a really interesting thing that, like, it's nice to say I want that, but then to also think about the person who's going to have to administer that, and that they have to go on living, and so thinking about the decisions that those doctors have to make now too.
Do you agree with it, or do you disagree?
In
general.
Yeah, I actually just read a book on this, this week. I think we want choice, and I think we don't want to be left in a situation where we feel like we don't have control, and where we feel like we are stuck in suffering. And there's that compassionate side that just says like I want people not to have to suffer, but there's another side of me that feels like there's maybe a danger, like I don't know, maybe a danger in like people ending their life too soon, or that's so I'm sort of on the fence. Yeah, in the past I would have been totally against it, but working at hospice and stuff, and just like seeing that sort of thing a little bit more up close, I feel a little bit more comfortable with it. But I would, like when you were bringing up the issue with sound mind and stuff like that, I'd really want to make sure that there was very like clear guidelines around it. And
and it's tough
like
because
that.
I think everybody, like, it's not like you can just fill out a questionnaire and be like, oh yeah, they're a sound mind. Like, it's very dependent on the case. But I really don't know where I stand on it, because like I don't want people to suffer, but at the same time I think of all the people they leave behind, and like death is like a really heavy subject, and it really affects me specifically. So when I hear about people like, committing suicide, or even like physician assisted suicide, it makes me very sad. So but
I've been in a biomedical ethics course that I'm actually in right now, and we were learning about how it's a person's choice. Like, they have a right to kill themselves. So that's a person's right in Canada, and it's also a legal binding right. And also, so that when you look at it, it's like also, but they can't do it. They like physically cannot do it in like a lot of these cases, right? So is assisted suicide, although it is a right to commit suicide, with assisted suicide, should that also have a right? I mean, obviously it's been judged that yes, but
do they actually have a right?
well, if you commit suicide, you're not going to go to jail.
Well, yeah.
No, but
Also,
That's not actually. They removed that law. There used to be that it was a crime to end life. It's no longer. I mean, obviously, if you do it, you can't go to jail, so it's an possibly punishable crime in the past. But there's an important piece of that they removed that criminal element of the choice you're mentioning to end your life.
In the states, like there's a lot of states where that is still a crime. It's like punishable.
I'm wondering.
Yep.
I feel like we might need a little bit more structure in this. And the other thing I just remembered was, I love this discussion, by the way, but I don't think we actually asked you what you thought about doing this, or your thoughts on, like, we didn't actually talk about our last meeting at all. We haven't really talked about that. I'm wondering if we just had jumped into this a little too premature.
Sure.
Discuss what had gone on before, and you weren't also consulted either, I don't think. You shared. So.
Appreciate that, Kate, because I actually was like, oh, okay, guys, this is what we're doing, and also feeling a little bit like everybody wasn't having the opportunity, so I'm glad that you could say that.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if,
discussion.
could you share then what you would like to see happen? Because we've kind of done
Oh,
that,
like-
and then maybe you after that.
Do you mean within the bigger group? Is that the topic here? Like,
Yeah, because I think we had said what we kind of would like to see doing, like, you know, whether we want to do an exercise here or discuss
Yes.
a topic, and then we started to discuss the topic right away.
Yes.
And then that portion you didn't consult with.
okay, well, thanks.
Right?
Sure, I do have opinions. In terms of today, that's what you mean, like what?
Yeah, what this group, what your thoughts on,
Okay, I have a lot of them, so I'm not really sure where to start, and I
Okay.
appreciate being included and maybe not welcomed. I don't know. That's okay.
What?
So I really think it's important. I appreciated that what was brought up. One thing was that the review of the past video, because we've all watched it, as presumably we all committed to do that. Am I correct?
to
I didn't come. I watched part of it.
Yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched.
Bits of
Okay, so that's good to know. We haven't all actually watched the videos. That's not something we can do. Correct?
I don't feel like I can commit to watching the full hour and a half video after each one. So I can go through it, but I wouldn't say I can commit to watching the full videos after.
Okay, so that's really good to hear because that's, I think, we're having a lot of strife actually because we're all sort of on different pages. Yeah, and that's important. We discuss and we decide what we're doing with that. That's my thoughts on things. Like I think we're having different ideas of what this process looks like.
Yeah, we might be. Yeah.
So maybe that's really important. You
Also,
wanna say something?
yeah. Also, you said you didn't feel welcome, and I just wanted to address that.
Sorry, that was kind of sideways, and I apologize. I'm actually, and I'm going to say this out loud. I wish I was in person to say. I sometimes feel like when I start to speak, there's several people that look away, talk to someone else, and it really hurts my feelings. I feel quite rejected and disrespected. So, yeah, there's a few people that I feel that from. I don't know if that's the reality of it, but it hurts my feelings, and it makes me feel like, oh, I should apologize for speaking, I should not speak. Well, it doesn't make me feel like that. You can't make me feel like that. That's how I'm feeling at times. So take that as you will. Accept it or don't. That's okay. Yeah, but I do apologize. That was very sideways, and so now I've said it out loud.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sorry you feel like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry too, and I wish that we could. That's the other piece of it. I wish we could put those nuances on the table and discuss them. I think that's important. I get there's a big. Sorry, am I overwhelming you guys? Is it too much?
Well, I'm thinking if we can really adequately address that concern via this,
yes,
like the technology, right? And
Yes.
so, and if we can't, it could be more damaging than if we had said, okay, we hear you, let's discuss it in person,
You're
you
right.
know,
Yeah,
for
that's a very
our
good
next
point.
group. Because we don't want to create any more strife or damage or misunderstanding. And this
Sure.
is just another avenue to possibly create that with the distance, right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's a strong, important point. Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's again, I guess it should be, are we willing at some point to talk about those things or not? Yeah, just to throw that out there. And that's, I think, all I need to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you guys want to move on to an activity then? Or
Nathan.
should we-
Well, I want, yeah.
Oh,
Can
what?
you-
Oh,
do
yeah.
you have any thoughts or preferences?
No. Yeah, no. I thought discussion was. Yeah. No concerns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and Nathan are actually in that biomedical ethics class together.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I don't know if we're really able. Can we just go around one by one to say if we do happen to have any concerns or frustrations or about the process, about this task, that kind of thing, and how you kind of understand it. Is that making any sense, or is that helpful at all?
Like by the process, do you mean like what work?
What our task is.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
To do the skit.
Yeah.
Sarah?
Yeah.
So like,
Sarah?
I thought today was supposed to be more like an organic, like we're gonna do like some tasks, and I don't know what's like. I feel like we overthink everything. Like we should just. I don't know. Like you acknowledged that like we were good with like I totally appreciate like I'm getting everyone's opinion, but like we kind of all it, like organically just happened, and I don't know. I think that is group process. So like. I don't know have any other groups that we would like stop and be like, how's everyone feeling? Like it's not that it's like not okay. I just feel like this is just like we're almost like thinking too much about the group process and not like just letting us process. That's yeah.
I agree with
I
almost
agree with
like-
that a lot.
Sorry, you go ahead there.
Oh, okay. I was just saying I kind of agree with that. I think that in a lot of groups or teams or whatever you're going to call other forms of organization, there's an end goal usually, and then that end goal is addressed, and most people work and strive towards the end goal without having a lot of redundancy on the outsides. I think a lot of the time we're doing stuff that's almost, I wouldn't say it's nice, you know, we're talking about how we're enjoying it or how we're feeling about this or that, but it's not promoting the end goal as much as us trying to work towards an end goal, like finding out exactly what we need or being concise. We're kind of going around the edges.
And I was just gonna say, some of the video that I did watch last week was the part where you were talking about how we're always trying really hard not to hurt anybody's feelings and like okay have we but sometimes part of it is just doing it I think is what you said, and then seeing how it goes, and then having these discussions when Rana, I think very bravely, and thank you for bringing it up, like when she's able to or like actually, you know what happened was Rana, like, yeah, I think, and you said it was a sideways remark, and so I just used the same word. So Rana actually didn't speak to it exactly. She made a sideways remark, and then I said, what? And kind of looked at Becca, and then Becca just made sure that we got it. Do you know what I mean? And so I think that was, like kind of what you're saying, that was just it happening, and us getting to hearing something that needed to be said. And like, even though it was sideways, I think that's the way most of us in a group with people we don't know very well, I think that's the way we bring those things up. Do you know what I mean? So if anything, it's just good you said something.
Thanks for that gentleness on my way.
No, but I think I would respond the same way, which is, so part of me wants to kind of agree with Mariah and just say maybe we can like let it happen, and part of something you said in the first one too, Mariah, was like, because at some point you said something to me and it hurt my feelings, and then Rana. Oh, sorry, Mariah. Rana. Sorry, I don't know why but you said something to me and it hurt my feelings, and then you said like, part of it though is like being willing to just be a group together, and sometimes that might mean that we accidentally run over someone, or we miss someone's input, or we leave somebody out. Yeah. And then, I don't know, does that make sense? Yeah.
I think so.
Storming.
I do want to say, I was thinking about this task that we have, and it is very strange because in academia you have a class, and you are expecting, oh, this is when my midterms are done or due, and this is the paper, and and you not passively, you know what I mean. You know how you generally learn within these contexts. This is a different task that we have, and it's not the normal way of learning, I think, right? So that's a challenge, and we don't have the goals set like a lot of groups would. I was thinking about teams at work, and we get things done because we need to do it right now, right? And you just do it. We have so much time to kind of sit and overthink and kind of get a little insulated and confused, right? It is confusing. What we're doing is confusing, I think, in a lot of ways, but just to acknowledge that. So this is a bit of a challenge, I think. Can we all admit to that?
Like I know our heads in group process, but
Yeah.
I think like we need to have one or two good, like to get good, I don't know, material for our skits. We need to come in and just be a group with a goal to discuss euthanasia and not worry about the group process, because like looking back in the videos, I was like trying to journal, and like it was just a challenge because half the time we spent talking about, I don't know, our group. It
What
was
we're gonna
weird.
do.
Yeah.
And how we're talking with each other and how
Yeah.
it's kind of what I was saying, how like we're going around the primary goal.
Mhm.
And it's like, yeah, how Mariah was saying, it's not as organically funded. We're trying to analyze. Oh, sorry, Rana. We're trying to analyze. We're trying to analyze each other and how the group is like talking with one another and how it's working more rather than how we're gonna finish. You know, how we're gonna get to the finish line.
I think we should say that for the video.
Yeah, sure. Rana?
Okay, I guess I really want to say that this is what I actually came prepared to the group for, is because I really feel sort of a division. Mariah, I hear what you said. I hear that you're frustrated, and I think several of us are with not getting on with the task, right? Because every time you're saying that too. Every time we come, we're always coming back around and talking about the group's feelings, how we interact, and it's really frustrating. Like you want to get on with this task. So the reading addresses this happening specifically. Like we just are in the fire, but we don't know it. What it's saying is there are two types of, I guess you call them leaders or group members. So one type is the task-oriented. The other type are I'm not sure it's called emotional-oriented or relationship-oriented. But if you've read the chapter 5, if you haven't, it's okay. But this is really relevant because this is the point. And I hear you. It feels like we're not getting on with it. Like we need to get this task, we need to do it, and we're not doing it. We're just going around in circles, and it's frustrating. But again, it really speaks to it. The literature does. This is supposed to happen. The people that are really task-oriented are going to bump heads with the ones that are relationship-oriented. That's going to happen. So part of it is figuring out how we can work together.
It does. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, that was really
it does
perfect.
bring that up in chapter 5 very nicely. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks for hearing me, if it's possible.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Well, so maybe going off of that, maybe we could start thinking about ways that we can devote each meeting partly to accomplishing tasks and partly, like, because I think we have a lot. I think the reason that a task-oriented person might feel frustrated in the group is I think I haven't read the chapter, so I'm going to just use the word you did, relationship-oriented maybe. I think we're really heavy on that side maybe, and I think last time we had talked about doing more like planning for people to bring a sub-goal activity, and I think that was what you had said you were thinking we were doing today, and that was my understanding too, was that we would like do that and let it just, for that time that we do the activity, just let our group happen naturally, as if we were just, this was our goal. Do you know what I mean? Just for that time, and then obviously later on, then the understanding is we would watch those videos, or at least those portions of the videos, to draw on some of the stuff. That was my understanding of the last time, but I just saw you shaking your head, Raina, so I...
Because it wasn't mine, and that's
Okay.
why I'm like, oh.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to interrupt you, I know that's
Yeah.
That's not what I understood.
Okay.
The
Okay.
sub-goals I got, and think that's really important, and I thought that's what we were doing, like the euthanasia happened. I think it's clearing the frustration a little bit too, because the point is taken strongly that, you know, the feeling of overanalyzing everything is there, and it's like the process gets stopped. So, yeah, we made a timer, we'll talk about euthanasia for 10 minutes, and then the process was stopped to address the relationship and how it was all unfolding.
Right.
So that was frustrating. The piece I'm confused about, and we're not on the same page about, is the idea that we watch those 10 minutes only of that sub-goal, right? That, I totally didn't understand that, and I wouldn't have agreed to that ever, personally.
I guess
I didn't get
I was just saying that, not that we just had to watch that 10 minutes, but that I don't know that I ever agreed to watching every video, the whole video.
It's just like you didn't, so that's an
right.
assumption.
So I was just saying at least maybe for myself, if I only had 20 minutes of video time watching, and then because I have to journal and I have to read and I have another class and I have a full-time job, then like for myself when I'm like trying to time things, like it's only I can only watch a portion of the video. So I just use that as an example for myself, that maybe in that case for my own journaling and my own what I was going to bring to the next meeting would only be that.
Okay.
But everybody else can choose how much they want to watch, or we can choose an amount of the videos that we commit to watching, or something like that.
I think it's obvious that we haven't reached a consensus about what we're actually going to commit to, right? You know, like, because we're all kind of coming in with our own assumptions of what we're all expecting of ourselves and each other in this. So, are we kind of in the beginning again? You know, so.
Sorry, I
Should
know
we-
it's
No,
frustrating.
no,
Do you guys
yes.
want to draw out an outline
No,
of
that's
like
what
what we should talk about?
I'm
for the next
wondering-
hour, or?
Because I know Shanti, she wants us to videotape them so we can look at what we actually said rather than what we remember, right? Which are two different things, which again is difficult if you can't commit to watching them and reviewing what was actually said and agreed upon. So is there a way, if that's not realistic, is there a way, like, can we maybe somebody take notes and have that as being, you know, a record for people who aren't able to commit to watching it, so that can be reviewed?
I don't know that we need to like watch the whole thing. Do you think? Like I had like no problem journaling and looking at our group process, just watching bits of it. Like, do we have to? I don't. Like, isn't an issue if you don't or we don't?
Perhaps, this is just an idea that I would like to throw out there, is what if we all, you know, split the video up into 6, 7, and came back and said, this is what I noticed in my 15 minutes of watching the video, this was the section that I took, I noticed that we did A, B, and C, and then we just report that to the group, talk about it, and so we all are like able to process what has happened in the video, but only take a manageable chunk so that like we can then discuss it later.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have time for that?
Yeah, so
Like-
when you say that, I'm like, yeah, that's gonna be really useful, and I think that I want to do that, and I think I want to force myself to do it, even though I'm really lazy, because I actually think it would be useful. But so that's just my thought. It's like my original response is to be like, oh my goodness, it's like all more things that I have to do. But like I'm like, that
But
actually
it's actually less things that you have
Yeah,
to do,
but
because
that's
really
the-
it's only like, but I think if we like came and said like, okay, these first 20 minutes or half an hour or whatever of our meeting, we're all going to go around and just do a little report on what we noticed in our 15 minutes of watching. You know, kind of like a summary of what we talked about, and then just a little bit like we did norming, or there was some task leadership roles, and blah blah blah. And so you just report that to the group, and then we can kind of generate a list of kind of like, okay, this is what we're actually doing. Like these are some of the key terms in the text that we're actually applying to our group. It's half an hour. We say, okay, that's great. Move on to this meeting. You know, the next part.
If that doesn't create any fragmentation, then I'm all for that.
I don't know if it will.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like,
Oh,
do
like
you know what I mean?
no, no.
Like,
Well, I don't think, but I think if you had the time or you wanted to watch the whole, of course, that option is. But I think also I like that because I found myself frustrated with my time constraints, wanting to be able to apply theory, but not feeling like I was able to, and so
right.
I like the idea of us sharing the load in that
as
way
a group.
as a group. Yeah.
That would make me feel happy because that's a task and we could actually do that when we come in, and then I could let go and you could talk about your feelings. Honestly.
Well,
Oh, that's
the
refreshing.
plot. So we could try it. If it's fragmented, then we say, okay, that didn't work. But like I just threw it on the table as an option.
What do you think, Ray?
I think it's coming back to that need for structure. I don't know if it will work, to be honest, but it seems like a lot of people really want that, and you have some time constraints, and you know, you're feeling like, do I need to watch the whole video? So I'm willing to give it a try. And I also feel like it's coming back to that argument of the relationship, to my argument, maybe this isn't yours. To me, the relationships are primary and everything else secondary. And to others, the task primary, everything else secondary. Personally, but I'm willing to try. The structure is important. I get that.
I'm into that. I think I still, for me, will probably watch the whole thing because I like to see things in the wholeness. But I think that gives some flexibility for everybody.
But even if you watch the whole thing and then like committed to like, this is what I will like
in that
this
portion.
this is what my portion is. I will bring this to the group.
Yes.
You can totally do it for the rest if you want, and just as extra. But like someone will report on that for you, or you can help them, or you know like
Add in things. You've
So
seen too.
that is your like or each person's responsibility is this chunk of whatever the video is.
Okay. Does everyone want to do that then?
Buddy.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do we want to organize that in this group or organize the chunk of time on Facebook?
I'll just say I will once I get the video,
Okay.
I will divide it into 7.
Okay.
And then say everybody take. I'll say like
Okay.
maybe you take the first one, and I'll just randomly assign.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That works.
Boom.
Sorry.
Everybody make their own decision of what section. Like,
Sure,
don't
like
want
first
somebody
come,
to decide
first
for
serve.
me. Oh, you're not. I can't hear you. What?
Like first come, first serve. Like just when she puts it up 1 to 7.
Yeah.
You know, in the
I
chunks.
don't want somebody else deciding for me, which
Oh,
I guess.
okay.
that's the only argument I would have.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it just might get confusing, just kind of being like picking the one that you want.
No. So you would write on the Facebook page
Yes,
which one
yes,
you
but
wanted
I
to do.
mean, I think it'll just be easier if I just say like randomly. I don't know what they're about, but everybody just take them.
Okay. This time to this time.
Yeah.
And then assign your name.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
thing.
But that's my saying. Like I'll just assign them because it's just simple. It's just like I don't know what's on this part of the tape, but you're gonna take it.
But I don't think it would
Thing is,
confuse it because you're gonna have to write out the times anyways.
Yeah.
So all that you're gonna leave off is the name,
Yeah, I know, but
right?
what?
Sorry.
Why?
anyways.
I don't know why. Like, I just don't understand why it matters. Like, what part we get. Like, if it.
That's again coming back to the same issue I have is that it removes for me the point of this class. So for me, the point of this class is developing the relationships. From then, everything else will come. Again, that's my frame of reference, so that's my point. If it comes from a point of somebody else telling me which part I'm going to take, even if it's randomly, I know that's a task I've been assigned. Does that make sense, Mariah? Like, I get what you're saying. It doesn't make it. It feels like there's no point. It's frustrating. It's impeding the process, and I hear that. I get it. I do. I think it matters to me. Like I said, the relationships are primary. If somebody else is saying, okay, you're going to do this part of the video, I'm going to watch the whole thing every single time, twice. That's just my frame of reference. And it's okay if we disagree.
I guess I just don't understand how that has to do with what that has to do with relationships. Like, I don't know how that would affect relationships at all. Like,
okay, so do you want me to explain?
yeah, sorry, I just don't understand at all. Like, I don't.
It's okay, but are you wanting me to?
Yeah.
Clarify? Okay. So in that way, for two reasons, but just for one. So say Becca selects the first section for me to review and summarize and name the processes and bring up whatever. Well, maybe that part wasn't the part that was all about the things that are important to me in the relationship, like the strife. Like, that's pretty key to me. Like, I think that's where the real stuff is personally. Is that making any sense?
But you still might not get to do that section because somebody else might choose it.
And the thing is, what if there's one part that's like, oh, this is the best one, like everybody wants it, and then it's like, well, then nobody's happy because.
I think that's part of the process is compromise. Like, you get maybe you get an awesome part this time, and someone else gets an awesome part next time, or like.
Sure,
I don't know.
It's fair enough, but it gets to decide how I compromise. That's part of the issue too. The compromise is important, and reaching a consensus is important. I agree. I actually kind of resist being sort of told what's going to happen as well. Like, that's my own personal rebellion.
Well, I see two ways that this could possibly go over, because if you want to choose your part, it's going to take you longer to watch the whole video and then choose.
Right.
But I know in my case, I'm just going to say I'll pick number 3, because I'm not going to watch the video beforehand.
Yeah,
So that might not give you the decision that you want. So either we all just pick right off the start without watching the video, or we give you some time for the people who want to watch the video then choose to do that.
Okay, so I see what you're saying. I see.
Yeah, because I might just pick the one that you want to do without watching the video.
And this is only for the group, right? Like, when we come back and we give our ideas of what our section, like, what are the key things, theories that we could point out. But I mean, realistically, if you watch the whole video, you're still going to get all the other parts. And whenever someone discusses that part, you can still give your opinion. We're just saying bring one portion, so then we all don't have to continuously watch every part of the whole video.
Okay.
So that's why I don't see why it doesn't really.
But we're still, like, if you want to watch the whole video, you can still jot down notes and watch it. Feel free, but just for the sake of the group.
And bring
still-
your thoughts, I would add there. And bring your thoughts and opinions about those, maybe a section you weren't assigned.
Yeah, and then if someone brings up a topic and you maybe disagree with it or something, you've still watched the whole video and you can kind of formulate a discussion.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on that, Rana?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm hearing you.
No, I'm saying, what are your thoughts on what we were saying?
I'm just feeling like the issue is getting kind of confused and nitpicky and frustrating for everyone, and I think the bottom of it is, like, the actual reality is that I feel like we should be expected to watch the whole thing, but that's not possible for everyone. I don't care, at the end you make great arguments, I actually don't care which section I take. You're right, because I will see the whole thing. You're right, all of you, that's a very strong point. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm frustrated that we're not willing to watch the whole thing. I guess that's where I'm at.
I don't think it's a willingness. I think it's a reality. I have 6 classes, a job, and I'm on a team. Like, I don't have time. Like, you
It
can watch
just
the whole
like
thing.
doubles the amount of.
Yeah.
Because
And it's
we're
not to
here
say
for
that
2
you won't
hours.
later
then-
when you do the paper.
Yeah.
But it's like we're talking about group meetings, which happen way more frequently. Right. So when I sit down to do the paper, I may watch all of the videos. I don't know.
In my opinion, I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I think it's really important that we talk about the skit mostly. Honestly, I think the skit is really important to try and get our group to come to a consensus how we're going to do the skit, what our ideas are for the skit, what kind of perspectives we're going to bring, what kind of theory we're going to bring to the skit that we can introduce and show the class.
And that I think is because you're task oriented.
Yes.
So where Rana might be, social
Sorry.
emotional leadership. No, I'm not
Yes.
saying I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that you
Yeah.
believe this and she believes that, and then
we're clashing.
neither
yeah.
is right, but
Right.
it's just difference of opinion.
I'm just giving my opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is like
Yeah.
you're being task oriented and she's being relationally oriented.
Or maintenance or whatever.
So
it is. Yeah.
not that either is right, but just that's how you work in a group.
But I also hear
Mm-hmm.
you in the sense that we have this weekend coming up, and then the next time we meet as a class, we have to present our skit.
Damn it.
So like this weekend coming up where we meet as a class, we have just regular class, and probably she'll give us group meeting time.
She may
or not.
She may
And
not.
then we've got
Yeah.
1 month, and we seem to be able to commit to 2 meetings in that month, and then we'll have to present that skit. So after this weekend, we'll have maybe we'll be able to scrap together another meeting, but probably 2 meetings to prepare a skit based on 6 meetings worth of.
Yeah.
Does that? Yeah.
Yeah.
4. Yeah. Ish. Yeah. So I do hear Lear in the sense of like urgency
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
at least getting the. It's like a dual task, right? I mean, there's like almost. It is a dual task. This thing.
Yeah.
And I think
meeting and processing, and
yeah.
then making a skit about it.
All
yeah.
of
It's
this-
a challenge.
Mhm.
It's a challenge,
All of this
guys.
also can be reflected in our
In
skit.
our skit. This could be our
We
skit.
could just be fighting the whole time, which is great because this is like all of us having different opinions. This is what we've been through.
Mhm.
So some people say like we're not doing work right now, but really
Yeah, we
we're
are.
writing the skit because there's no right answer to how group processes work. So if our group fought all the time about working on the skit or working on
That's
like
true.
so say we're on a desert island in the skit and it's like we need to get fire, we need to like make a fort, we need to do this, and then like someone else is like, well, how are you feeling? And
After
like,
the plane crash, this happened.
yeah, and I
we
felt
need to
really,
talk about it.
you know, so it could be like that could be our skit, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Totally good.
So
Love it.
I'm just saying we don't like this is actually writing our skit, even if it doesn't feel like it. This is essentially writing our skit.
But it's exactly essentially our skit. That's what
Yeah.
we're supposed to do is show our unique process. Like,
Yeah.
this is it.
Yeah.
We love that.
So it may be frustrating right now, but I think that if it helps, this is it. This is our skit.
It's in the
This
book
is what
too.
we're doing, yeah.
This is what we're doing is in the book.
So
The concept.
Yeah.
And I know, okay, so I know we talked about ideas before, and this is really weird, but my new landlord, so we moved. She was actually in this class, and she was in the group that girl
oh my gosh.
did the individual project.
Oh no.
Oh.
And she was telling me that
Interesting.
no one understood why the girl felt bullied, and that like their whole skit, they didn't even get to finish their skit, but she said all the skits. This is why I'm saying this. All the skits were like pretty dirty. So
Dirty?
yeah, pretty dirty. Like they were like pretty like inappropriate or
Oh really?
Oh.
yeah.
Interesting.
And they had like songs and stuff, which I thought was really cool. So I don't know.
Oh.
Anyways, but the gossip part of that was that she was in that group.
Oh.
Yeah, and her class was the one that changed the whole thing. So
To be
I thought it
honest,
was really cool. Like
To be
what are the
honest, I did
chances?
not ever
Yeah.
expect it to be dirty.
Just like kind of vulgar. I guess like dirty was a
She
weird.
Yeah.
says she likes inappropriately irreverent.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's
Irreverence.
dirty, but
maybe dirty was the wrong word. Just like
Rude.
vulgar.
Yeah.
Crass.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that's how I thought of us doing
Okay.
like our little like talking behind the screen or whatever, and then being like, oh my gosh, she's such a bitch. I can't believe this is happening. Like I just want to get this process done, and like I can't can't even believe that I have to, do all this work and read all and watch the movie. Like, ugh. So I think that's maybe.
I wasn't expecting that. I didn't think that it was going to be like that, so I was surprised when she told me.
Yeah.
So I just thought I'd share.
Yeah.
What are the chances of that, though?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
What are you taking?
Oh, well, for processes.
Yeah.
Love the chocolate.
Please have some food.
Thank you.
These are some.
There's nuts in there too. So the sugar and protein together.
It's gonna feed my
She's
allergy.
She's got.
Oh.
Maybe an orange.
Anyway, sorry, that was offside.
No.
What do you bring? What did you bring?
A giant fruit basket.
Oh,
I'll
love.
share it.
That's really nice.
It's only because I really want the chocolate, so I'm trying to make you jealous of my fruit.
Oh. So
Yeah,
Sorry.
I
Don't worry,
feel
I'm the fruit.
pretty. I don't know where to go because part of me is like, yeah, we definitely need to like talk about the skit, and I'd really like to like set down some ideas, who's bringing what, kind of like really like task oriented. But at the same time, I'm like, this is actually like important that we talk about this stuff. So I'm kind of don't know where
Yeah, so I see these two sides, and I think they actually will work together better than you might be looking at it, because if we just start talking about like what our lines will be and like what props and
Right.
stuff,
yeah.
like the process will come out there too when we're disagreeing about those things, so we can like, the skit will come more alive as we actually do concrete skit workings, because time limit is like an issue, but if we actually start talking about, it's like, oh yeah, I think we should talk about this, or maybe this should be in the skit, like we'll also be adding to the skit by working on it. It's not like they're two separate things, like talking about group processes and actually making the skit. Like I think if we actually start to make the skit, then we can bring it all together and actually get it done in time, because yeah, the time
This
is
is my
pretty
understanding. That's exactly what I was
quiet
thinking.
ones are the wisest.
That's like what I was. That's what I meant. Like if we go into talking about this, for instance, like if you guys have ever done group work before, you've probably all done group work before, but as you're striving towards the end goal, everyone kind of improvises. Right? There's like a lot of improvisation. Like
Yeah.
people say, "Oh, what if we add this?" or "What if we say this?" And then people come to a consensus and they say, "Oh, I agree with that," or "I disagree," or maybe there's some conflict or whatever. And as I think what Nathan was saying, which is kind of like reflecting my point as well, as we're working on these tasks of like, for instance, a good example would be us talking about the newsreel or the Jersey Shore, outtakes or whatever.
Please don't tell anyone that was me.
Everyone's kind of contributing to those ideas, and they're saying if they like them, they dislike them. That's part of group process.
Yeah.
So that's something that we can incorporate into our skit. So as we're going through, we can add a different part of the skit based on what we talked about.
But okay, yes, that's good. It's going to be difficult to write a skit, organize a skit, if we haven't come to consensus through watching and observing what our process looks like objectively, right? Because as we said before, we had different ideas of what we had decided from last group, right? So
Well, this has just popped into my mind when you said that everyone has a different view of how this is going. What if we all went around and said, if we were to make a skit right now, how would we direct it in that, like, this is, like, I see this as, like, all about relationships, and this is, like, how this is working, or I see it as, like, we didn't get anything done in the beginning because...
Sure.
I like it if we can really hold space for each other's difference of perspective.
Totally. Well, yeah, because we're all, like,
'cause
that's
what we need
why I said we should all go around and say, because
Yeah.
totally we're all going to be, like, I was frustrated because, like, everyone was not doing what they were supposed to be doing, like, the task, and so...
What do you think, Allison?
Let's do it.
What do you think, Rana?
I really love it. I'd like to add that yes, really hold space for different perspective and hear what everybody else is saying, and a time limit. Because can we give everyone like a certain number of minutes? Because we are obviously 45 minutes left. Anybody who's good with math, they'd love their input in.
Well, do we want... I don't think, like, I think I'll only take, like, 2 minutes
Yeah,
trying
I
to
would
explain
too.
what...
What do you think the skit should be?
Yeah, like, uninterrupted, or if I just said, this is my idea, and then talk about it.
Just 5
From
minutes
your
max,
perspective,
Yeah, 5 minutes max.
Okay,
how
why
the
don't you
process
start?
is going.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Unless you don't want to.
Well.
Yeah, why don't you start? Because I feel like I'll understand better what
Oh.
you're saying.
On the spot. Wow.
Okay, so
She asked.
it opens
What's
up
that?
and
You didn't hear that?
Do we agree on any time limit or not?
yes, 5
Yeah,
minutes.
5 minutes?
Okay.
I'm timing. Okay.
Cool.
So it's this is my idea. So we are all like say trapped on a desert island, and we just got stranded by an airplane crash, say, and Lear is like, you guys, we need to get fire. We need to, like make a tent. We need to get this done because it's gonna be nighttime soon. And then Mariah's like, yep, I agree with that. Like, we gotta get going with this. And then, like, maybe say Mariah comes behind the screen and she's like, ugh, Lear is just being so controlling and I can't even handle it because, like, I'm just so frustrated. Like, I know we need to get stuff done, but I just want to sunbathe or take my time. And then come back into the whatever, real life thing. And then Lear's like, okay, so are we doing this? And then Kate's like, well, like, I don't know, because, like, I was thinking, like, I didn't really hear Rana on that one, so, like, maybe we could, like just ask her what she thinks, and then Nathan's being all, like, he goes in behind the screen, and he's like, these guys are so dumb, like, I know, like, what we're doing is, like, we need to do this, and I'm not going to say anything, because, like, I'm going to wait until it's, like, down to the wire, and then they'll realize that, like, they should have done it my way, but whatever. And it comes back, and then Allison's like, well, like, I don't know if, like, do we need to, like, should we all talk about how we want to, like, should it be the roof made of, like, palm leaves, or maybe, like clothes? Should we use our clothes? Like, does anyone have, like, let's assess what we have right now. And then I'm like, okay, well, I think I got a lighter, and then someone else, like, I brought a hat. And then it's like, well, maybe we should make task force. And then someone goes behind the screen and is like, task force is the dumbest idea. You can do it by yourself. Like, if everyone just took a task and, like, separated it, then we could just get this done really quick. But then someone else is like, no, like, and then someone goes behind the screen and then they're like, no, we need to, like, get together and, like, work and all do the task together because, like, that is the way that we will all be on the same page. Like that. That's my idea.
That was a really good idea.
I've been thinking a lot about this.
Dude, that just came off the top of my head.
Improvisation.
So I have 2.5 minutes. Please tell me what you think.
I think that was like very good, and it made a lot of good points about how we were behaving amongst each other in the group. So that was good. The whole scenario is pretty good. Like, I mean, we could think about that in, like, obviously you're thinking about it, but visualizing it, like, we have a lot of resource to actually make that visible. Like, we could go to, Willow's Beach.
Yeah.
And film it at Willow's Beach because, it's stranded on a beach. So it's a really concrete idea that I think we can move forward with.
Raina had something?
Oh, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'll wait for my 2 minutes. If you want feedback, I can, if that's...
Yeah, we're just giving
we're
feedback. We're just giving feedback to Becca.
We are giving feedback?
Yeah.
Okay, well, no, I can't give it because it's connected to my idea, so...
So I guess I'll explain. So my idea was just, like, taking examples of things that have happened in this group and then applying them to a situation where it's not just in a classroom. It's in, like, a desert island where we need to get something done, which is the skit. We need to get a task done. And some people are very task-oriented. We need to do this, this, and this. Some people want to do it as a group. Some people want to do it by themselves. Split up the chunks of watching the movie or watch all the whole thing. So I think my idea was just taking things that have happened and putting them into the skit, and then using that the filming box or the screen or whatever you want to use to voice our opinions in a comical way. So it's like talking to the audience. We can kind of name what's happening while keeping it.
Exaggerate
I was
people's
like,
name.
how
Exaggerate.
Yeah. So kind of like naming like. Well, like, we're supposed to be storming right now, and I just feel like we're doing a lot of restructuring, and so, like, there's just a lot of sass, but, like, in a comical way.
Yeah, it's an exaggeration of how we're coming together.
Exactly. It's kind of like a satirical comedy piece about like naming things that are happening. 18 seconds left. I'm done.
Thank you so much for respecting time.
Okay. Would you like to go next? I heard you say.
I think I
You said yours was connected, so that makes
Yeah.
it good.
don't know. Okay. It's actually
Good
kind of
segue.
exactly similar.
Okay. Well, I heard you said you wanted to go next. So.
Oh, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh,
You
Yeah,
froze.
you froze for a second.
I
You're
just-
fine now.
I just said. I think you said you wanted to go next, so I just want to make sure.
I didn't say that, but I
Oh,
can
okay.
because it's connected. I heard that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
go for it.
I'll just go because I'm wasting time. So it's 20 for 5.
I'm gonna see if
Okay,
this
so
makes a
my
difference.
idea was, and I'm not attached to this particular theme.
Oh God. I'm sorry. You're there? Okay. Sorry, go ahead. I just didn't want to keep my battery thing in the back. Okay, go ahead. Just
Okay,
go.
did you hear what I just said? Or
No, can you
we're
repeat
gonna
it, please?
restart your time.
Okay.
Go
Sorry.
for it.
That was me.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, that's okay. So my idea was very similar, and I'm not necessarily attached to the theme, but great if it's a go, whatever. So it was definitely a desert island, so keeping it really simple. So we do have a task, and the task is survival, essentially. We have nothing, we need to build a house, we all disagree about how it's to be done, and that's because many of us are very individualistic. That's Western society, that's who we are, that's why we're all fighting, but we have to cooperate. So, and actually I had a side discussion with Kate about this. I hope it's okay to share a little bit. So I had thought about, like, I don't know how it fits with the desert island, but it can, or boat or whatever. So say we have one very big piece of rope, right? We have to move a bit of beech wood onto somewhere to build our little house. So each one of us has a piece of the rope, and I'm trying to actively show a possible skit scene. So imagine all of us holding a bit of a rope, which is happening. We're all pulling the rope in different directions. Like, we're trying to do different things with the rope. We can't get it together. We can't get it around the log. It's just a disaster. Kind of internally, I was thinking it's a nonverbal demonstration, but whatever. I'm open. And that rope being sort of always in there, a part of our skit. Like, at one point, like, my hope is that we come together in the end, and the rope is united in a circle, and we build our little house happily. But along the way, we demonstrate all the difficulties in doing so, and trying to unite ourselves by reflection of what's been happening in this whole situation with all of us, right? And exactly, like, you verbalize things so well, Becca. Like, the disagreements among people, the frustration, the confusion, lack of clarity, all of that stuff. But again, having that structure of building, we're on a desert, we've got like 3 logs, 2 matches. We're all trying to survive, and we're forced to do it together. So, is that making sense, you guys? I feel like you're giving me so much silence that I'm like, God, am I even making sense?
I really like the rope idea.
Trying to understand it in our heads, I think. You know,
I'm making mistakes, so, okay.
I am at least.
I really like the rope idea because I think it's really symbolic of the idea that, like, we might not want to work together, but we're stuck working together. Just that, like we can't leave the rope, and that we have to figure out some way
We
to,
can be
like.
tied to it.
I was thinking maybe we're each tied to it, and so if we want to do something, then we have to, like,
We can't.
all go over there together,
I
or
like
like.
to like pirates.
I don't know.
But then that might take
Anyways.
away from someone being like, we gotta do this by ourselves, and it's like, well, we physically can't because we're all
Yeah.
tied together.
But that's part of the.
Yeah.
The fact is that we're in this group and we have to work together.
Yeah, but we can do things like smaller tasks. So I
Yeah.
think that
That's like the metaphorical group is that we're
Yeah,
we're
but you
stuck
could be
together.
tied with like smaller ropes. Like you could have your like everyone has like their hands tied together, but you're like attached by the bigger rope.
I think it would be
Right.
better just to keep it simple and
Yes,
see how
maybe we could-
Rana was saying, where you just hold the rope.
Hold the rope.
Everyone has to hold the rope, and we make some narrative in the beginning that says, oh, this rope is magical. If you let go, you will die. So everyone, like, damn it, we have to hold the rope, And then, you know what I mean? It's like, it'll add to the concept that, okay, even if we don't want to hold the rope, we have to until we're done our task.
We're in
There's
this.
also
Because you can work on little things separately while still holding on to the rope.
I think we can also accommodate the pieces of the individualism. Maybe consider extensions of rope, because that is also a part of it. Even like there's 3 concepts in here that we're demonstrating, like all being force tied together, but we're also all individuals, and we're also, there's something else I forgot from the book, like the three things: cooperative, individualistic, and interdependent. So those 3 things have to be all working together for the group to function most effectively. So in that way, we can use our rope to demonstrate everything if we get it. But I just want to accommodate Mariah's point that there could be an extension. We don't have to agree. It's okay. It's just an idea.
It's an interesting idea.
So how do we name those things that are happening? Do we use like that screen, my idea of the screen, or is that separate?
It's not a decision we just made. I'm just throwing my
No,
idea.
I'm just hypothetically.
Hypothetically, we can demonstrate it as though whenever someone goes to the screen, one person yells in the class, freeze frame.
Freeze frame!
Freeze frame. And then everyone's still holding the rope, and then everyone's,
Time out.
it's like a timeout, and everyone's frozen.
I think
While that one person goes back there, and then they start talking.
my
So
my main question was if that had factored into Rana's idea, having that frame.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like physically how we were do it.
Sorry, Becca, what are you meaning? Are you meaning how do we demonstrate the theory with only the rope? Is that your question?
No, I was like for my skit idea, I was saying we have a scene and then there's these sidebars that we talk to the audience. Are you thinking of doing that, or is that not on the table?
Everything's on the table.
No,
Yeah.
but in your scenario.
My scenario can accommodate everything.
Okay, sure.
I think that having like the video, like I know it would be a lot more to have a video, but like I think technology is like a huge part of our group.
I was
So-
gonna say too that
That was kind of like
Mm.
that adds a factor, because like I don't know any other group that has to meet via Skype,
Mhm.
right? So that could be
That'd be so funny if we had Rana on the computer holding the rope.
Yeah.
And she'll be the narrator, and she's holding the rope on Skype.
guys, shut up! I need to talk. She's got her flashlight.
Did you say tie it around your neck? Oh, it was like, what?
Pretending to pull on you guys, trying to get you to go in my direction as you pull the other way.
So that's 5 minutes. Just.
I will not be 5 minutes, and I feel like, because I don't have an idea, but I feel like I could go off of what
Then
this
go.
is. So it can be my 5 minutes though. But I was thinking that to kind of incorporate those two, if we were holding the rope, then we wouldn't be able to say like go off into another thing. But you had mentioned in another class maybe pre-filming some stuff.
Right.
And so maybe that could be like we could pre-film just our little like, well, I blah 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 blah,
Right.
you know, like, and then those could be set up. Then we would stop, and then something could come up on the screen. I don't know if that would be too hard to organize, but
No,
go for
I was
it.
thinking like on a slideshow presentation, you can have videos play when you click to the next slide. So if like someone had like a clicker in their pocket, we could all be attached to the rope, and then just have we could click it and have our
Video come up.
video.
I think somebody said that that having that pre-filmed, we would need to have very specific lines. Was it Nathan or is it Mariah? Yeah.
Okay, so, or at least making sure that we move in that
Direction.
Yeah, it couldn't be totally improvised.
Yeah.
which is
So-
fine.
Yeah, and it would also be nice not to have to memorize lines per se, but to
Yeah.
be able to just kind of know
General direction.
generally what I need to say in order to elicit generally what Lear needs to say back to
Yeah,
me,
like a
or
little
that
bit of
sort of
a
thing.
little bit of improvisation.
A little bit, but like having the design of the story
The
and where
conflicts.
and the major
that
plot
come up.
points and
Yes.
the conflicts. Yeah, yeah.
I also think we should do, if we're going to use jokes like humor, they should be scripted. So it's really hard to think of speed.
But I think a lot of the humor would be in the videos.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Yeah.
that would be
In
something
how
that
the
you
act in how the acting is going, not necessarily.
And if we were moving logs on a beach, we could actually, like you said, that would be really sweet if we like went to the beach for like an hour and filmed our little.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Or
Like
like,
if we were
yeah.
actually in the context in which we were using the rope.
Yeah. I feel ya.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only thing I think that would hold us back from that though is that obviously our skit is a lot of talking,
Mm-hmm.
and when you're at the beach, there's usually a lot of wind.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Oh, I don't mean like doesn't have to be the beach, but we could.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, just wherever we are in the wilderness, like, it has to be pretty.
Flashlight.
Can you hear us?
I just want to add to your just a point that doesn't have to be a lot of talking. Talking is important. I hear that. There's also it could be, as you all wish, a really strong nonverbal element, which could accommodate everybody's wishes. So you don't have to be tied to that. Just talking.
I was just saying. I was
You know
just
what I'm
saying.
saying?
Yeah, it's kind of going on my point though. I was just saying, if we are going to use talking, we have to make sure that it's like it's in our bounds. You know what I mean? So like the technology that we're using, whatever camera we're using to record, is not going to be drowned out by the noise of the environment. Because I mean, I've done other video projects in the past, and when you're outside, if it's a crappy day or something happens, and that's the day that we choose to, you know, it could be windy, and then the sound could get scrambled, and we have to kind of think about that as well.
Well, I also think like it would be hard to do. Like it's a good idea to be out at the beach, but the skit is actually in the classroom, right?
Okay.
We're not filming the full
So
thing.
we can't. I don't think we can
yeah.
film the full.
No,
thing.
I know that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, if we were using parts of it, like for instance, we could say, oh, like we can use the beach as like we just arrived, like we're all on the sand,
sure,
and it'll be like all of us waking up.
Yeah.
And then we can
Sorry.
walk into the class after the skit's done, and we're
I
all
love that.
holding the rope, and we're like, where are we? You know what I mean?
That's
Something
cool.
like
That's
that.
like a multi-dimensional.
And then that'll like also incorporate our group's process of using technology. I mean, we like
Love it.
use video editing to illustrate these like points that we've like pre-rehearsed, like
Love
us on the sand or something, and then it could be us like in the
You know
skit
what?
talking. No, wait.
We could almost do something where we're trying to set up our presentation, like on the screen, because you know how we had that whole big thing about Facebook, like in the beginning, and all this conflict around Facebook. The whole skit could be about like setting up the skit with technology.
Okay, but I will say that I think a lot of people will do that.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of people will do the meta thing where they're like, well, we need to make a skit. What should we do? Well, let's talk about it in our skit, because I think that that's something that has been
We're
done.
more creative than that.
We are so much more creative than that.
Setting up.
Okay, just
I liked that idea though. So or even just if it was like, oh sorry guys, we're trying to get our technology working here, and then they like wouldn't be sure if our skit was actually not working or if that was our skit. I think that would be really funny. We're like, Lear, you said you'd have this set up. Or like, I don't know. Anyways.
What I was gonna say, can we just, for the sake of the conversation, just stay on the time?
Yeah.
Like,
Also,
Allison's
this
still
was
on the
technically my 5
Yeah,
minutes,
yeah.
but like I said, I don't have. I'm happy
We
to
just
free
kind of,
it up.
yeah, we just kind
It
of
would
like
go off
sidetracked the
The
robot.
timer just went off.
Oh, okay.
Who hasn't
She's setting a
shared?
timer.
Yes.
Who hasn't shared?
You three.
I was just,
No.
I don't really want to share for 5 minutes.
4.
All I just want to say is, like, I really like this idea, and I just want to contribute and go forward with this idea. Like, that's my opinion. I think all 3 points that we made, and the use of technology has really pushed us forward to a good skit idea. It's very, in my opinion, creative, and it's something
It'll be
that I
different.
definitely think no
Yeah.
one will do.
Yes.
So I think we should move forward to that. That's all I want to say so
Love
far.
it.
Okay,
Love
I'll
it.
go on that. I think we should move forward with this idea too.
Boom. Oh wait, that's it?
Awkward.
I set your time and everything.
No, I like the rope
Speaking
idea.
of
The rope idea is really
There's
good.
a lot of like good like points, like nonverbal. That would be really easy with the rope. We could do the video thing to include the theory. I think like if everyone's down, I'm down.
Okay, let's.
Oh, sure. So yeah, like the skit has to be like super long also. So I think we
Yeah.
can.
Is it 20 minutes?
Yeah,
It's a long time. So I know
Yeah,
that
it
like
is.
I love all these ideas, and I really think that like we can also kind of do multiple of them.
Yeah.
So like when you're talking like the desert island, I think and then someone else was mentioning you again, like having all of our characters, but really like exaggerated just to kind of fit the concepts as well.
Yeah.
So like we'd have the task oriented, maybe like storm or whatever, and like just in these different scenarios, they can be like disasters, like just going from one to the next to see how the group works in them.
Yeah.
Like just to see how that works.
That's cool.
It's like maybe we all come to like decision really quickly, and then like Lear's like, what? Like we didn't like storm at all. It's like get angry. It's like
we do, and then we like switch it up, and it goes into another
Yeah.
thing. I like that. It's like
But
a
yeah,
mon-
but,
it's like a
um,
montage of tasks.
And then one of them could be like the rope thing, like because it would be easier to fill up all this time if we
Yeah.
have multiple things. And I also really like the just as a side, the setting up the skit as the skit. Like that, I think it's awesome.
I think that'd be really funny. Just to make everybody feel super uncomfortable. They're like, oh no, their skit's not working. Just think that'd be really funny.
So that's all I have to say.
I really like the multiple skits idea with
Yeah.
sticking to that one metaphorical rope theme.
That's cool.
I like that idea. The only thing I would say to that is we should have multiple, but limit it so it's not redundant. Like we don't have 10, and then
Yeah.
we're always like switching scenes and people are
Right.
getting lost. It should stick to like a
Like,
Three.
three is probably a good
Yeah.
number. You switch once, and then everyone's like, oh, what the hell? They're
Yeah.
going like somewhere else, and then they do it one more time. They're like, okay, but like the fourth time it might get repetitive, and
Sure.
it won't have as much impact.
Yeah, because then we could do like, it could start out us in the classroom and like we can't figure out how to get the something working or whatever, and then we're like, oh, okay, redo or something. And then we like are on a desert island or, I don't know, and then like, is that kind of what you're,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was
yeah, what you were saying too, like that we could like, somehow we would transition between,
yeah, like the
The last
trials
skit
and
could be the
tribulations of group processing, and then we'd be in the desert island. It was like task 2, and then be like, oh, I guess like
Task
setting,
2.
setting up the thing was like their first one. Like we would make it
Oh.
known like right after, and then be like, oh, okay.
You know what I think could be a really cool like overall one though, like that we kind of end with or we go off is your like chemistry thing. So like maybe the rope is like the base structure, and then we're just like trying to build like something
They
on that or
use
like
that
to produce
idea in
something.
the text, by the way.
Oh, do they?
They
Okay.
do. There's a,
chemistry.
well, yeah, they use that analogy of chemistry.
mm-hmm.
Okay. Because
Early
I
on,
still think that was
it's like
like
the first one.
really
Yeah.
like a
I-
solid.
It's small, yeah,
Mhm.
easy to miss. Yeah,
I really like the idea of multiple like scenes or whatever you want to call them, montage of different scenarios. But the one thing I think is how would the overall like switching of tasks, does that play into our group now?
Yes.
Am I
do you
making
see what we
myself
just
clear?
did this meeting?
Yeah, but like completing a task and then moving to the next
No,
one.
not necessarily
We're not
completing a
gonna
task.
Oh, okay.
Like being
like
like,
trying something else?
yeah, basically we're like, well, we,
derailed.
yes,
Okay, well that one didn't work.
Yeah, or just like let's figure that out later, like at a
Okay.
time, another time,
Table
and
that
then like
discussion.
tink, you know what I
Okay.
mean? I don't know. Yeah, we'll table that for later.
I think
Maybe
that's
we'll.
really representative of
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
I like that.
about today's meeting.
Cool.
Maybe we can
Oh, yeah,
find,
sure.
for those of you that are reading the textbook more, can find out like what maybe that's like a thing. Is that just derailing or like
Switching.
you know, I don't know.
okay.
Like
fine.
it's probably like ineffective
Yeah.
group work.
Yeah.
but
we can illustrate through that ineffective group work. We can illustrate how we come together and form a decent process. I mean, like we're getting sidetracked, but
Yeah.
metaphorically, like we're still finishing it.
That's
Whatever
true,
needs to
yeah.
be done, right?
Perhaps.
So it's like speed bumps.
yeah,
We can we
there
can
is
use
no
this-
derailment. Is that what you said, Raina?
I was saying exactly that, and yeah, these speed bumps they're like the juice of our group.
Yeah.
What?
They're
What if we used your scenes or whatever you want to call them, motif, and so say there was like group development, how we develop the group, how we decide who's the leader. So there's different
Oh,
tasks
happening in each.
within the task. Sorry. So like say there's experiential learning. What else have we got? Group goals. So there's a task where it's like these are our goals. We're on a desert island. Oh damn it. Okay, well, that was we're still talking.
I'm sorry to do this, but Nathan, I'm not 100% clear what you were meaning by the tasks and switching. Like, I know you're trying to get there, Becca, and appreciate that. I just
Maybe go
wondered
again.
if you could
Oh,
Redo.
just like different like disasters that we have to go through in our in our characters, kind of that fit the concepts in the book. So like someone could be
Yeah.
the stormer, and so whenever they feel like we need to be storming, they storm. It's like a big sign, like a storming sign.
Okay.
It's time to shake things up.
that theory. Is that what you mean? Like, they could be the character of that theory.
Yeah, just so we can bring in some
Oh.
really clear concepts
That is
too to
different
make
than we thought.
Shanti happy.
So wait,
Mhm.
are you saying we're switching, what is it?
Scenes.
Settings?
Yes.
Yeah, so
We are,
Also.
we are switching settings, okay.
Oh, okay, that's different. The
Same
the
idea.
ship is going on, right?
I think it's
But he suggested both.
Yes.
Okay, thank
Is
you.
it not
the same
idea?
it's all encompassing.
It's
Yeah,
all
Yeah.
So I think my question to you is, like, say we're talking about the interdependent process. So we're saying like we need to trust each other or whatever. So we're on a desert island and we're like, well, I don't think you're doing this right or whatever. And then say that we finish that and we switch to like a task-oriented one where it's like we need to do X, Y, and Z, and none of this is getting done, and like. I'm not really making myself clear.
I know what you're trying to say. You're
Yeah.
trying to switch scenes completely and have it like not relatable. Like so you would
Yes.
you would have. But what I'm thinking and
Yeah.
getting from Nathan is that we transition. So in let's say
Okay.
like the survival of on the beach. Let's say
Yeah.
is our first one. The second one is we're in the woods. But we can just right away jump scenes and everyone's like, whoa, like who the hell is doing this? Like you know what I mean? Like it's like a light switch. Why are
Yeah.
we in a different place? And then in that place we have a different task that maybe reflects a different problem.
Okay.
So building a house would be the first one. Second one would be instead of shelter, I don't know, climbing a tree. I don't know, just using it.
Yeah.
Getting to
Fire.
know each other.
Okay, I like this.
There's a way to unite these ideas, and if I'm getting them clearly. Like the transition is important, right? And I can hear there's some worry about the logistics of making that happen, right?
Yeah.
The thing to remember, I just kind of want to come back to Nathan's idea, is that the possibility that one person could represent, say, the storming, right? But also remembering that we're all dynamic and changing. So there is another element of like, okay, we could have a prompt that represents the storming, and the person who is sort of creating that storm at that time could have the umbrella to demonstrate that
Okay.
as a possibility.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I know I'm not speaking to the logistics of switching scenes, but I like that part.
Yeah, I think it's good to think about really concrete ways that we can bring in theory, like you were saying.
Yeah, I agree.
And I like that idea too, that we could pass props rather than maybe somebody necessarily being the stormer or being the, because I think that would maybe show better that it's a process,
Yeah.
that it's not a person.
It's not a person.
Yeah.
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 I always imagine like there'd be a giant sign that said storm.
Sure, and
Like,
just holding
shoving
it.
at people.
Take it!
Or your umbrella.
Or the
Yeah,
umbrella's
or
really
the
cool,
umbrella is
yeah.
a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's do 5 minutes.
Yeah, do you have a 5 minutes?
I am so excited about your ideas. I'm completely confused.
Great.
But I have
Sorry.
I am very excited about it, and I have a feeling that you guys are totally right on it. I'm not totally confused, but I think you guys run with it, and I just mean like you have some fantastic ideas.
Okay.
And I'm not strong in the creative piece to it of that. I'm just more concerned that it will depict our process better,
Yeah.
and so that's going to be like the role that I'll take,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like I can be strong in that,
Cool.
rather than the actual creatively,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Coming up with the. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
that being said, when I go home and I review the tapes and everything, I do, don't feel nervous, but I write down little points on each person in our group of things that I observe, not judgments, but areas that maybe that person has a particular perspective and communication style. Things that we ourselves acknowledged in the beginning of our groups, which we said, I don't like to be interrupted,
Yeah.
I don't mind, blah, 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 those kinds of things.
It might be helpful for you to bring that to us so that
Yeah.
when we're forming our characters, we can
Yeah.
really play up those.
I
pieces.
can do that. I can do that.
I like
And know ahead of time, these are just observations.
Judgment.
No. These are observations of my perspective of what I think somebody is strong in and what they bring and that kind of thing, right?
I like it.
What's that?
Fashion sense.
And fashion sense.
Totally.
Just add, you guys, I do that too. My journal is 25 pages thick with my observations of all of you and our interactions. So just so you know that that's also a big part.
No, and myself. Like, and my own, and you too, right?
No, yeah, it's not about you guys, it's about me.
No, and then how we're communicating, right?
It's easier when you go through the book and you think about it at the same time. That's what I
The
found.
journaling. Yeah.
Yeah, like I had a paper beside when I was like going through the book and I was like, oh yeah, so did that. Like just from
Yeah.
what I recall,
Yeah.
like just
Yeah.
Okay.
it's like page 99,
Interesting.
99,
Uh-huh.
Kate.
Mm-hmm.
That I know
Kate.
that like that reminded me of you. Right?
Cool.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's a
Yeah.
good technique. Thank you.
Actually,
so
bring
much.
that too if you like. Anything that could help. Yeah, we can do that, right?
So next time we should probably focus on the skit then. Keep this going and
I think
this weekend.
a good way to synthesize working on the task as well as working on how the process is going is if you bring in like we all bring in our journals or whatever and you say like I really noticed that like you were doing this, that could be a part of your character, so we kind of work on like character development, so that way we're working on like how we are working together as well as this is what you could use in the skit as you.
I just don't have a journal, so I don't really.
It's all
keep
in
track.
here,
No,
man.
yeah, I mean, I watch the videos and I read, but
Yeah.
I'm
I-
not keeping a journal, so.
I didn't really keep like I didn't really write specifically about people, but I think it would be a good idea. Like I'd like to hear so that I can take that and be like, oh, people noticed that about me. Okay, I'll make sure that that comes up in the skit.
I think also we should talk about if we're gonna stick to a certain number of scenes in our skits. So we talked about 3 scenes. Maybe we should talk about the individual scenes in the next group meeting. So like the first scene that we're gonna do is probably the beach one. I think that's kind of what our idea was. So we would talk about specifically our first scene, and then maybe put an idea for the second scene,
Yeah.
and then that would be the following week or something like that.
How would you guys feel about doing some like partner scenes as opposed to always having all of us on stage, kind of doing like everyone freezes in the background and there's like a either a confrontation or like a bonding between two characters, or would you rather just keep it all as the whole group?
I don't care what we do as long as it reflects our process and I'm not humiliated.
Oh, we would do that.
I mean,
would
like,
be humiliated.
I don't mean being ridiculous. I can be ridiculous. I mean, like,
I
genuinely
think she wants you to
humiliated.
just lean forward.
Okay, you couldn't see me? Sorry. Do you know what I mean? But if it reflects what we're doing,
Okay.
great.
Like I think maybe this weekend we should have like good like character development and stuff because
Yeah.
the next 2 meetings that we meet outside of class we probably want to like
We have to finish the
solidify
skit,
the skit.
which is terrifying.
So
Sorry?
We have to be practicing.
Yeah, like we have to
Yeah.
finish it and then practice rehearse it, so that it's ready for that Saturday, right?
That's gonna be so hard.
You're
Again,
What's that?
sorry, are you saying something?
We were talking and then you were talking at the same time,
I'm sorry.
so.
Yeah, so I don't want to interrupt, but I just did, so.
You get interrupted
No.
because we can't hear you, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Right?
it's okay, I'm
Yeah.
not upset. I'm not gonna freak out.
What? I wish you were here, Rana, this is hard.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh, okay.
Yes. My thought is for next class, if everybody's in agreement, and I think you probably will be, why don't we come, we begin at the first scene in quotes, however you want to define that, bring a rope, do the desert, just throw all of ourselves in with something, and just start.
Oh.
I know that sounds totally unstructured, but that's how we started all of this. It's just
It's good because we'll improvise a lot of it.
Yeah, we can improvise it, and it will be.
No, that's okay.
and
I
it will
agree
be
with you. I think
taped,
it's good because we're gonna
so
be
you can go
improvising.
back and
I
make a
can't do
skit.
both.
Sorry, I'm saying like I think it's a really good idea because we're gonna probably be improvising a lot of it, and so we'll save time with the improvisation of what we can record and what we think is funny, and then we can edit it out or reshoot it if we think that's good. It's a
Or not
lot.
reshoot it, but because it'll be performed live.
No, I'm saying just
Oh.
even parts that we're doing on
Okay.
camera
Yeah,
because we're doing both, right? That's what.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be good because it'll be taped. So even if we're just throwing ourselves in, unstructured, improvising, then at least we'll be able to go back and say that worked really well. That really reflects, and then we can then we've like gotten some really good work done, as well as experienced the process.
How does everybody feel about that? Like desert island thrown in? Like
I think we should do the beach thing. I liked like if we could keep it to like a beach and building like a fort or like a shelter versus like just a desert.
done.
Desert
Yeah.
island, yeah.
Yeah, because like that's just like
We just need a
not
task.
creative.
Um,
Yeah.
It's what? It's what?
Just not creative. Like we, I don't know.
I'm not super jazzed about being kind of thrown into that. Like I do agree we would be able to see that, but I would like to work on like who like kind of labeling who our character is, sort of thing. Like just to kind of, I mean, I know that in
Do that.
theatrical performances, you have your character and you know like okay, this is because the way that you have your character will inform how you act in a scene. So if I say like my main trait is that I'm going to be really task oriented, then all my interactions will be like, well, why aren't we getting this done? Why aren't we doing this right now, guys? Come on. So instead of just being like, oh, I don't really know what like who I am kind of thing. So if you kind of have like your agenda kind of set out for you, you can kind of say like,
Right.
I want to be really like relationally oriented, or I want to be really like I really like controversy, or
Go, Rana.
I hear you. I totally get what you're saying. I agree 100%. And I want to say, like, yes, let's do that. Be that person who's task-oriented initially. But what the beauty of what's happening right now is that you're switching and becoming the relationally oriented person, if that's the role you've chosen. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's dynamic.
yes, I do. I agree with that, but I think that
Just for the skit, for the sake of the
We're only
skit.
doing
we wanna-
the first skit, so if we base the first skit off of the characteristics that we talk about,
yes, I want to talk about. I think that's my main thing is I want to talk about like I want to know which part I'm playing in one scene. I just think that would be easier for me instead of being like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know, let's just improvise and see how. Because I think we'll just kind of be flat and be like.
I think I see what you mean. We have like a static character, like that's reflecting one theory. So
Yeah.
like, I'll be, let's say, hypothetically, the storming guy.
Yeah.
And so like constantly, I'm trying to like get in arguments with everyone.
Yeah.
And like the whole scene, which should be like 10, 15 minutes or whatever, that one scene, it's going to be me trying to argue with everyone and
Yeah.
conflicting with everyone, and I should stick to that person. Maybe in the other scene, if I've obviously developed something in our group process later on, we can change roles. Like I can be someone else. You know what I mean? And everyone just sticks to one static person, and then we continue to promote that one static view throughout the whole scene.
It's just I think for an audience person to have people kind of be like wishy-washy on what they are, it's really hard for them to be like, I don't really know what's going on because no one's really like coming at, because you kind of really have to go like, this is what I'm doing and I am being task oriented, and everybody like, because if we're kind of like, I don't know, going back and forth, then it's gonna be really wishy-washy for the audience. But if we're very like, I am being task oriented, then they'll be like, she's being task oriented. I understand, like I get it, and then I can switch in the next scene. But just making sure that like it's coming across that like we're not kind of like, I don't know what I am.
Yeah. You're such a good asset when we're doing things, because you have that experience, right? You know what it's like also as an audience.
Yeah.
And what the needs. This is great.
Yeah.
It's really great, guys.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
so could we do like half of the next meeting? Like if we get time in class, we could bring our stuff to class, or journals, or your thoughts to class.
Yeah.
Do half of that as in character development, and then from then on we just work on the skit.
I like that.
I like it the other way around. I like it, but I like it the other way around.
Work on the skit first.
Yeah, just get thrown in and people take their roles and then change. Just an idea, whatever. I'm not gonna argue points.
Could we throw in for like 10 minutes?
Yeah, and just and then
It gives us kind of like a base of
What do you mean throw in?
like
just do the
start.
skit
Just start with the skit. We'll bring her up. Start with the skit. We'll time it for 10 minutes. We just try and like come up with a skit, and then we work on it.
Should we assign roles?
So
No, just
we're not
be
gonna do any
easy.
reflecting on this meeting first. We're just gonna go straight into working on it.
Yeah.
How are we going to do that? Because we're going to, okay, question, how are we gonna get right into it? Imagine next week.
Yeah, because we
I
would need
guess-
to have a task so we'll all be holding onto a rope, and then we'll need to be working on a task, like acting
Well,
like
let's
we're working
let's
on
figure
a
out what our
task.
first skit's gonna look like. Where do we want to stand? How do we want to hold the rope? Where's everyone gonna be on the rope? How are they holding the rope? Where the video camera's gonna where we're gonna.
Can we do that first before
I don't
reflecting
think so.
on?
Well, I don't think we
more
can
of
do the really. I don't think we can do the really technical stuff
Yeah.
there.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I think we can. I think I hear what you're saying, Raina, and that you want to just us get thrown in so that we just kind of naturally show more group process, naturally show more what we're like. Just
What I'm saying is, yes, sort of what I'm saying is like, and I don't need to argue this to death, I won't, honestly, like, when we arrive, we do 10 minutes of a simple, doesn't have to be a commitment to it, we do, alright, we have a rope, we're on a desert, we have to build a house. We do 10 minutes of that, like, however that looks like, make it really simple, and then go into our character development and our actual skit.
Oh, so
We don't
at
have to do that, it's just an idea.
at practicing doing something.
Exactly, starting off that way, because all you
Like
have
you
are
were-
if folks are saying you want that.
Okay. It's like an exercise or something like
Mm-hmm.
that we were looking at trying to do today.
That's-
Is that what you mean? That's what
is
you mean.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm open to whatever you guys want, actually.
what were you gonna say? Nick?
Oh no, I was saying, I'm just trying to put everything together.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like what might work pretty well is so having an idea of like one of our skits, let's say it's the beach, and then doing it that as an exercise, seeing like what we would actually do in the situation, and then after that we can pick out our character development and say like what we did the most, and then we can kind of work on like tweaking it so we can turn the exercise into our skit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because then we kind of like define our roles without like picking roles for each other. We get to define our roles.
We kind of stated that we wanted to do this last week. Like our meet, not last week, but our last meeting.
Yeah.
We actually stated that we wanted to do
Yeah.
what we're
Like
actually
the
saying
tasks.
we want to do next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can someone bring a task that we're gonna work on with the rope? Desert task?
Let's make the task we have to build a house. You want
Yeah.
something concrete?
Build shelter
I'll
for
bring a rope
survival.
and a log.
You bring a rope and a log.
If
Okay.
you guys agree with that, unless you have a better idea. I want it to be so simple, we don't have to commit to it.
Sure,
It's
sure.
just
Okay.
so really,
Okay, and we'll
really
just see
simple.
how that goes for 10 it's only 10 minutes. So yeah, that seems good.
Unless someone has a better, simple idea, that's great.
So we're building a house.
Could we bring like 4 sticks in and we all have to build
Yeah, that'd be much better, Mariah. I'm sorry, you're smart. Let's do that.
So I'm just thinking like what do we do with a rope and a stick? But if we have or a deck of cards and we have to build like a card thing.
House of
Tower or
cards.
house of cards, or we have to
smaller.
do like 4, like we can sit in a circle and I don't know, anyone have Lego? Like just like build something.
Yeah.
Smart.
Okay.
Okay.
Like literally
Okay,
build
let's do that.
like
Let's do deck of cards.
Does
That's
any-
easy.
Or
Oh, decks of cards. Making a house of cards is not easy. I spent a lot of wasted years as a child, lonely,
All right.
doing that.
So what if everybody brings one object? I'm sorry, Kate.
Yeah, or sorry.
I'm sorry. I
Yeah, like
Everyone brings one object. Please, your turn.
Look at us. blocks. I don't know. Does
Legos.
anyone connect with kids where they have like a set of blocks or
Could we
something?
use sugar cubes? Could we like build
Any-
a
yeah,
sugar
anything.
cubes or something?
Any little
sugar
thing item. Yes.
I think perhaps it should be something that won't work. I mean, not that won't work, but will be difficult to work. Because like if we use like Lego, then it's like, oh, we're all just doing like we'll just fit like whatever. We'll all just do something. But if it's something like cards, it's like okay, well let's strategize. How is this going to work? I think that if we do this, this, and this, no, it'll be better if we do this, this, and this. So it's a bit more difficult. So it's like, okay, we have to talk about how, like, what is, who has the best idea, how we're going to decide that's the best idea. Decision making, really.
Guys, are we gonna check out?
I don't think
yeah.
we're gonna have time.
Because it's 6 now.
Yes, it is 6.
I don't know if
Okay,
do we really need to? We've got a lot of work done, but maybe just deciding when we're going to meet again.
Okay.
After
Over the
Next
week after.
weekend, you mean?
Yeah, like, it feels like sometimes when we're not together and we try to organize it, we just kind of push it.
Right. I think these people are.
Well, I think
If we don't have time,
we're
then
seeing
yeah.
each other this weekend,
Yeah, we're
Okay.
seeing each other this weekend.
so we can
So we're gonna
decide
do that.
then.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Could we meet on
Does that
Friday? Or no?
Are we
This
meeting on
Friday?
Friday?
Yeah, like later Friday afternoon?
I don't think I can.
No? Okay.
I can't make.
We're just doing Saturday and Sunday.
That's fine. We had originally said we were gonna do that and then we,
And we met today, I think,
Yeah.
instead.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think we decided not to because it was too long. of a
It was just gonna
weekend,
be too
and
long
then we
of a
had
week.
something due on Monday or something like that. I think. We have
Saturday.
something due
I
next
don't
week.
know what to do on Monday.
Yeah, and you said you didn't wanna do it.
Okay, so Saturday.
Saturday, we make a decision about next week.
About
Yeah.
the next couple, we should like nail down the next couple of meetings
Yeah.
so that, yeah.
So
Damn
what are we
that.
doing then, cards, like should?
Well, you know, I was just thinking, what about marshmallows and toothpicks? Because I have a whole
Yes.
bunch. Okay, I will
Yes.
bring toothpicks because I have a big box. So someone can bring a bag of marshmallows.
Can I just say, can everybody just bring whatever they want, one thing?
Okay,
Okay.
Like that way, you bring
Yeah.
your toothpicks and marshmallows if you want, and Becca brings
Yeah.
something odd that won't work, and Mariah brings.
yeah,
That'd be okay. Everybody just brings
Oh.
one thing.
yeah, that you can build with, right?
Okay, sure.
Yes.
I like
Sure.
that.
Bring
That's something from yourself, your individual.
Something you
Yeah.
can build with on 3. 1, 2, 3. Something you can build with.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Good
job.
Okay, guess we're going. Thank you, Raina.
Thanks, Rana.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Yep.
I'm so warm.
You too. People are waiting.
Vehicles are getting.
Oh, did you watch last night?
Oh yeah, is that what we did?
Did you watch the whole thing? Skills was so good. I like that they did double.